Are you looking to optimize your mindset and lifestyle for success in today's business world? You're in the right place. This is where you get to build your freedom through promoting through Facebook and selling on Amazon. Welcome to Actualize Freedom with your hosts, Wilson and Danny.
This is Actualize Freedom, the no bullshit podcast for hacking your freedom through selling on Amazon and lifestyle optimization. My name is Danny Carlson.
And my name is Wilson Lee. Today we're going to be sharing with you about high sales volume products versus small niches. Should I be selling products that I'm passionate about or the ones that only make money? What price point are the best to sell at? And setting boundaries for working on business time. Just a little reminder that show notes can be found at actualizefreedom.com/2, where you're going to be able to see all the transcripts and all the links that we refer to and whatnot.
All right, guys, so let's get this thing rocking. So first point that we're going to go over, should I sell products I'm passionate about or ones that make money? This is one of the biggest questions that people just starting out ask. So it's like, if you're into skiing, should you sell products about skiing, or should you just look for, forks or something that you just don't care about at all that maybe people don't want to actually sell? So for me, there's no clear answer for this. It really depends. So like, if there is overlap between stuff that actually makes money and stuff you're interested in, then great. That usually only works for if your interests are like really niche and really weird. So like, if you like yoga, then you're kind of out of luck, because guess what? Everyone else loves yoga and wants to sell products in yoga too. So for me personally, I can't actually monetize my current passions because longboarding, downhill longboarding is one of them, and like metal music is another one of those. And both of those are actually really terrible markets where the target customer, one, doesn't have very much money, and two, there's a lot of companies in there that are just willing to make a really small profit or even like a break-even point. And so you're competing with people who are not actually making any money. So it's not a good market.
No, for sure. And like for me, on the other hand, like my passion is in running business. I've been running multiple businesses. I've been running over 10 different businesses and have been across different industries. So for me, my passion is just running business. So knowing the fact that I'm on Amazon, I have no attachment to any products that I'm selling. I much really prefer and actually love how the business model works. So for me, this passion is just about how to build a better system, how to build a better business after all. And I actually think that, for you to jump into this business, choosing between passion and the project, you really have that mentality like sorted out right before you jump into it. Otherwise, you'd be working on this for 6 months, a year, and you're like thinking back, why the hell am I even doing this?
Oh, totally. And, one thing a lot of people don't think about is that passion can actually come with time. So just because you're not interested in forks right now, maybe 6 months down the road, you're going to build passion around business, just like Wilson's really passionate about building business. And pretty soon, forks are going to be your passion. You dive into it. Like, think about it. Like when you first started, maybe let's say soccer is your passion. You remember back when you were 6 years old and you played your first soccer game, did you just light up? Was it the most amazing thing ever the first time you tried it? No, probably not. You're probably, stumbling around. You're probably really scared because people are yelling at you and stuff. It probably wasn't that fun, but it came with time, right? So just because you're not passionate about it now doesn't mean it can't come with time.
No, totally. This is exactly what it is, and then at the end of the day, just having the right mentality would really be able to set you forth and whatnot. Do you have anything else to add to that?
I mean, not really, but there's another really good point that we got to touch on here, and that a lot of people take this approach is building a business to fuel your passion. So let's say that you like mountain biking or something like that, and mountain biking can be really expensive. Bikes cost like $5,000, $7,000, and you got to travel around and pay for lift tickets and all that stuff. So if you want to create a business that can fuel that passion, you're going to have to create a decent amount of money. So just because you can't monetize your passion doesn't mean you can't build a business to fuel your passion.
Wow. I've never thought of it like that, because for me, my passion has always been business, right? So yeah. I guess it makes sense because my business is fueling my passion of growing more and more business, which is in turn, that's exactly what's happening, right? Because I'm making money just so then I can fund the next project and whatnot, right? It's precisely your point.
Oh, totally. And I think that's totally ideal situation if your passion can, like your job is actually fueling your passion as well. But not everyone can start from that point. It's really a personal thing, I think, depending on what you're actually passionate about. It doesn't have to actually line up. So to really answer that question, should you sell products that you're passionate about or ones that make money? That's a very personal question. Sorry to be really vague about it.
For sure. No, like passion is such a cliche, I think, at the end of the day. Like everyone's just like, hey, you know what, find your passion so you never have to work another single day of your life, and as much as it makes sense, it's something that no one can really teach you or no one can really show you the way. Once you're there, you kind of know that, oh, like this is exactly what it means. But aside from that, it's just following your gut and just doing things that you love doing.
Yeah, it's one of those pieces of advice that 90% of the people that give it aren't actually following their passion themselves. So it's like, can you really follow it on a really basic level like that? But anyways, let's go on to the next point here we're going to talk about is high sales volume products versus small niches. So this would be something, it's like, do you want to get into something really competitive that there's a huge market for and there's lots of money, or do you want to sell something that's like a little more niche and there's not as big of a market, but maybe it's easier to break into that market? So in my opinion, this really depends on the amount of money that you have to play with, because with high sales volume products, you're going to have to make a much bigger investment to break into that market than a small niche. So for example here, let's say that your product, all your competitors on page 1 of Amazon, they're selling $50,000 a month of this product. So you do the calculations and you calculate it's going to cost you $25,000 to actually get your first shipment of product in there, and enough product so that it doesn't go out of stock before you can get the next shipment manufactured and sent in. So if you're investing any less than that $25,000, then you're probably going to go out of stock and you're going to waste your Amazon ranking, and it doesn't work that way. So while high sales volume products are good, just realize that it's going to take a large investment to get started in those.
For sure. High sales usually means high competition. You're competing with people who are much more experienced, have bigger teams, better relationship with photographers, copywriters, and actually have their system in place. You require much more effort in optimizing and babysitting your PPC campaign and your listing and whatnot. And because these products and listings attract all the sharks that will do anything to win, whether it be gray hat or black hat, different things that, buying reviews and so on and so forth, right? So at the end of the day, it really depends on your investment to start, like what Danny was saying. And, for us, we really advocate in selling products that are a higher price point rather than being lower price point. Now, let's jump into that. Like, why is that the case, Danny?
Well, higher price points, for one, are a lot more defensible. So what I mean by that is the low price point products attract people who have a really small investment to get started. So a lot of overseas countries, like India or, China, places where people typically don't have as much money, they're really hungry to get into Amazon, but they can only afford the products that are, $10, $15 or below, because, maybe they only have $2,000 to get started. That's all the money they have in the world. If you're sourcing a higher price point product, immediately you're eliminating those people from your competition. And that's a good thing, because that is a very large subset of Amazon sellers. It's and there's so many of them that pretty much any product underneath that price point is not very defensible from them.
Yeah, and basically all the courses on the market right now teaches you to be within the price range of $15 to $65. That's a sweet spot that everyone is trying to sell at. At the end of the day, the margins are high and the shipping cost is low, and really the maintenance of it is much lower than a high price point item. So when it comes down to how defensible this product is, it's not that defensible, because anyone with a few $1,000s can get in the game, can learn better copywriting than you are, can have better photos than you are, and basically you just end up fighting neck to neck with these people.
Oh, totally. In my opinion, the only two real hard barriers to entry for you are, one, you can go get a patent, and that's a crazy process. That it takes a lot of time and money to actually get a patent, and you got to create something new and get a new mold from your manufacturer or something like that. Or you can just sell at a price point that your competitors can't afford. That's the most basic one right there. Obviously, you have to have the money to do that as well. But I mean, if you do have the money, that's a great way to keep the competition at bay. So Wilson, what in your opinion then is the best price point to sell at?
For me, I mean, we have been having discussions about this for a while now, and for us, we find that selling at $80 to 120 is our sweet spot. That's how we set ourselves apart from other people. Just like 80-90% of the people out there in the market are selling at prices, like I said, $15 to $65. That's what people teach. That's how you get into the game and whatnot. You wouldn't want to be sitting in an inventory of more than like $5,000. But if you're selling stuff at $80 to $120, you're basically outbeating 80 to 90% of the people in the market out there alone, just by selling something at a higher price point, right? And also, like, low price point products require much more customer service. It seems like, people are much more like fidgety, and they're much more like complaining about, hey, you know what, my product is not well, and so on and so forth, right? So for us, we like dealing with this price point mainly because the clientele seems to be a little bit better as well. People that can afford $80 to $120 worth of goods, they tend to be much more like, I guess, reasonable is the word.
Oh, totally. And not only that, it's the volume of products that you're selling too. So to make any good money off a product that sells for $10, and let's say you make like $4 profit off that $10, you have to sell like 1,000 or thousands of units a month to actually make a decent profit on that. And if you have over 1,000 orders a month, then that's the potential for a lot of customer service you have to deal with. But if you're selling a product that sells for like $100, and let's say you make $40 profit off of that, you don't have to sell nearly as many of those. And that opens you up to a lot less customer service inquiries.
No, for sure. And like, now that we're talking about the concept of time, like, how is it that we set boundaries for working on business time?
Yes, this is super important. So like on this podcast, guys, we don't want to just help you out with online business stuff. Like we want to help you optimize your lifestyle so that you can have the maximum success in the fastest time with your business. And blocking out distractions is a huge part of that. Obviously, the internet is just literally designed to turn you into a squirrel as far as like your focus, right? Everyone has ADD on the internet. So blocking out distractions, turning off airplane mode is a super big thing. So, and also shutting off messenger applications on your computer. Unfortunately, you can't put airplane mode on your computer if you want to use the internet, or else I totally would. But one thing I do in the morning actually is the first 3.5 hours of my workday, I literally don't have any messenger applications open. My airplane mode is on. No one can reach me for the first 3.5 hours. And then I work on the most important things for the entire day.
That's awesome. Like, that's exactly what I do as well. I actually turn off my phone, so then it prevents me to have any distraction whatsoever. Another kind of big point that I really was very, very helpful for me is setting boundaries with our loved ones, our family, our friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, kids, and whatnot, and just explain to them that this thing that you're trying to build requires time. Explain that you need to make sacrifices to grow something, and it's not like that you don't like them anymore or whatsoever. Like when I first told my wife about, hey, I need to spend at least an hour to 2 hours of my alone time working on this every single night, there was a lot of resistance. Like, she's like, oh my God, why? Like, why are you not watching Netflix with me? Why are we not going out for dinner and whatnot, right? But at the end of the day, setting these boundaries and explaining to her that, no, it's not because I don't want to spend time with you. No, it's not because I don't love you anymore. It is because I'm trying to build something. And at the end of the day, having this compromise is very, very important, because you're just trying to take away all the friction from building your business. You're trying to be able to focus on building your business. And this is really what would make a difference, setting boundaries for working on business time.
Totally. And you just need to have these conversations, because if you don't actually sit down with these people and have the conversation, they're just going to assume that you don't want to hang out with them anymore, that you don't love them anymore, that you're, too busy for them or whatever. And, if you actually explain it to them, 99% of the time they completely understand and they're supportive of you. It's just a matter of actually communicating that to them. All right, so we have one more good tip for you guys here. This is a really quick win. So one thing I like to do as well is do Pomodoro breaks. So you can set a timer. A typical amount of time would be 20-minute work and then a 2-minute break. So you set a timer for 20 minutes, and then once the timer goes off, you stand up, stretch around, whatever. Maybe you check your messages on your phone if you really need to do that. And then once that 2-minute break is up, do another one. Just keep cycling these 20-minute Pomodoros, they're called. and it can really help you stay focused and like not get really fatigued sitting down for too long and stuff like that.
For sure, and that specific tool we would put down on our show notes, right?
Yeah, we'll have a link to that one. There's a lot of them out there, but we found one that's free, and it's probably the best one. So definitely check that out in the show notes, guys. So we have some action steps for you guys. So it's one thing to actually hear it, but it's another thing to actually take action on it and improve your life and, take some steps towards building a business. So number 1, determine whether you want to go after high volume, heavy hitter products or small niches. That's really depending on, how much money you're willing to invest into it. Number 2, analyze your passions to see if there's any overlap in good product opportunities to sell. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but definitely take a look. Number 3, determine what the highest price point you can afford to sell at is, because the higher the price point, the more defensible it is. Number 4, download that Pomodoro timer. It's called Focus Booster. You can Google it or check it out in the show notes. Practice putting your phone on airplane mode, shutting off messaging apps so you can actually focus, and definitely have that conversation with the people that are close to you, your girlfriends, your friends, about setting the boundaries for working on business time.
Make sure to tune in for the next episode because we're going to be talking about product research. Very, very important things. At the end of the day, we spend, I would say, 80% of our time dealing with product research because, whether your listing is successful, whether you're going to be able to make money, it really comes back down to product research. So make sure you guys tune in for the next episode. If you guys like this episode or if you want to check out the show notes, it's at actualizefreedom.com/2. actualizefreedom.com/2.
All right, awesome, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode of Actualize Freedom.
Peace.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Actualize Freedom with Wilson and Danny, online at actualizefreedom.com. If you like today's episode, please review and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.